till I tell my friends that I sat on Hannah Montana's suitcase. Ah!
Oh man, guys, so I purposely did the Wizards on Deck crossover retrospective first because I knew it was a little bit stronger, but I really want to dive into the origins of what started it all, what made all these networks decide to come together and selectively handpick different actors to take place in really specific episodes. When we grew up, we revered this special really excited. It was something that had never been done before, crossing different universes to be the same. It was just really cool. But I'd be lying if I said that when I rewatched all of it, I definitely have a new perspective. And while it's not super positive, I feel like we'd have a good fun time going over all of it. Because these specials are just, they're just cool, okay?
And listen! Do you tickle the camera?
And if you get the chance, please subscribe, like, anything to help share this channel. I just want to make more 2000s content, and I never want to stop. So if you guys support that and want to watch more TV shows like Disney, Nick, Cartoon Network, and so much more, please don't forget to subscribe. But without further ado, let's jump in to the special that started it all. That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana. Here we go.
Let's go. If you could gaze into the future. You might think life would be a breeze. See trouble from a distance, yeah. Go right, but it's not that easy.
Okay, so in part 1, we have Checkin' Out. It's That's So Raven episode, season 4, episode 11. And it kicks off the whole thing. It starts with Raven's boss, Donna Cabana. She's about to go to Boston, which, can you imagine where that could lead? But her assistant is sick.
I just lost my assistant. Tiffany called in sick. Tiffany?
And Raven's been waiting for every opportunity she could to step in.
You need someone to, step in and help you, don't you?
Yes.
I bet you do.
But who? I mean, I'm planning this huge photo shoot in Boston, Raven, and I need someone who's organized.
Raven is hilarious, not only just her, facial reactions, but then she, shows Donna she's so willing to do anything by jumping through hoops literally in the office. It's actually really funny. So Donna Cabana immediately makes Raven feel a lot of pressure as she says an incredible fashion designer will be there, and if anything goes wrong, it will be an issue. I guess we can pretty much guess where this episode's gonna go. The B-plot doesn't feel like it has to do with the special, so I don't think I'm gonna cover it that much, but in short, Chelsea literally gets into paddleball so well, and Corey and Eddie see money in this opportunity. Not much to discuss there.
No, you're doing it right, Chelsea. You're supposed to hit the ball. Yeah.
Oh. Well, in that case, Mr. B, stink.
Raven talks to the famous fashion person over something that's kind of like FaceTime, but look how old it looks. It kind of looks like a Windows Movie Maker type video. I definitely don't think we were video calling at that time either. And I wish Chelsea, Eddie, and Corey were somehow worked into the plot. You couldn't have Corey running throughout the Tipton, or Eddie and Chelsea getting into an issue with Mr. Mosby. There's just so many opportunities to keep crossing over that I feel like they didn't take right off the bat.
Ah, yes. Raven Baxter, I have it right here.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
It went through?
Oh,
no. Okay, ready? Next one.
Raven meets Mr. Mosby when she first steps into the Tipton, and I feel like the immediate introductions are what we watch these specials for. How do the characters interact? What do they talk about? And then everything after that feels like it's just okay, let's see how this plays out. Which is necessary, that's the hype it builds. I do care about how the episode goes, but it's these initial things are what really make it solidified. Mosby and her actually get along really well, their chemistry is pretty good. But then obviously things take a dark turn when Raven realizes that the photographer and models for the shoot were sent to Czechoslovakia instead of the Tipton, so she's in some deep waters.
I ruined everything. Everything!
As she's trying to figure it out in the lobby, she has a vision that some girl is going to fall, and Zach and Cody prevent it from happening.
Garbage.
You guys put your arms out.
Why?
Just do it.
Of course I'll do it.
Which is such a cool introduction. Raven stops the whole situation from happening, and obviously the boys are super confused, but I like that they have a really intimate intro.
How'd you know she was gonna trip?
Don't y'all watch the news?
There's been like a rash of falling stars this week. It's scary.
Good to know.
Donna Cabana comes in, and everybody's super excited for this fashion show, except for Raven, who is terrified. And how come they could get Donna Cabana to come, but they can't get Chelsea, Eddie, and Corey? You know what? I'm gonna let it go. We realize quickly when the fashionista is supposed to show up that Raven comes impersonating her to make up for her mistake.
Oh, la 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 la! You know what that sound means? It's the boys!
Zach and Cody somehow get looped into it, which is really funny because obviously they both on their respective shows get into a lot of hijinks, so it's really cute to see them together, especially this early on.
Actually, he's Juan and I'm Cabela.
Okay, listen, I don't want you to speak English on this nasty list. Now listen, do not speak to this woman. I better not get no pick out of you.
And this is where it gets really funny. The actual fashionista shows up, and obviously Raven is already impersonating her, and the fact that this is being recorded live on the news is even more insane.
Okay, boys, smile, smile. Ooh, it's a pointing. Ooh, it's a pointing. It's so rude. It's so rude. I love it. So nasty.
But this is something always funny about That's So Raven, like, people confronting each other, missing identities. Like, I love this stuff.
It's gonna be totally humiliated unless we have an explanation.
Or we run.
But what really bothers me is that we're essentially toward the very end of the episode, so a lot of it was introducing stuff that never got fully realized.
Have our incredible models arrived from Buka Praga, Slovakia?
Right, about them Prada flogging boys.
And you'll see what I mean when we go on to the Sweet Life episode. It feels like the same thing. Zach and Cody end up being the solution to the problem, where Raven has a vision that the boys end up becoming the new fashion icons. So she's like, okay, let me jump in and take credit for that, which is a very Hollywood thing to do, Raven. Why are you doing it like that? And that's kind of how the episode ends. Raven's able to turn around her whole Donna Cabana situation and make it work in her favor. And I like that it's her working toward her career in fashion. Like, it's clearly progressing the plot of Raven, which I really like. It bothers me how strategically it feels like it was produced. Like, 90% of the episode is only in the Tipton lobby, which isn't really much of a crossover to me, but I feel like we'll do more complaining about that when we get to Hannah Montana. But while I find it cheap in retrospect, we have to admit that the writers did a really good job at making it work. Like, growing up, we never noticed stuff like that. Like, looking back now, I'm surprised I even picked up on it. It takes good writing to turn around one set and make an entire episode out of it, and Raven did a really good job. This show has always been really good though, so I'm not really that surprised. For now, let's go to the Zach and Cody part of things, which I would say is my favorite.
Would you like a wake-up call for tomorrow?
Yes, please!
I also gotta give them props. It's really cool that Raven still can't leave yet, so she's involved in the next episode, taking off from where That's So Raven just started. So Raven is stranded at the Tipton after her flight's been canceled. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but in the episode before this, she had this whole fashion show where she checked into the Tipton. Here we follow Zach and Cody and their storyline. They're getting ready for their mother's birthday, and it's gonna be a whole surprise. But when they run into Raven, she warns them and has a vision that they are going to be harmed during this experience. Which, can you imagine if somebody came up to you and is like, don't go to your mom's birthday party? Like, I would be terrified. Seeing her interact with all the Sweet Life cast is really funny. Like, Raven Simone and Ashley Tisdale have good chemistry. I love how Cody even questions how Raven has her visions and, like, enacts it himself.
You were doing this.
It's really funny when Maddie comes into the picture because Raven, like, fangirls over her, because that means, like, in this universe, London Tipton is super famous, which makes sense because in the Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana special, that was kind of a similar scenario. The cool thing about this episode specifically is they make the B-plot be about Raven, which is great because it's like we're not abandoning that first episode of this trilogy, unlike the Hannah Montana one, which we'll get to later. But Raven still has a way to go. She basically is like, hey, if I can get London wearing one of my dresses, realizes that would be game-changing for her. Maddie even says she'll help her with this because she's so close with London, which is true. London takes advantage of her a lot, so I feel like Maddie can at least get this one favor from her. The boys deter their mom from thinking they're planning anything for them, and Cody takes this burden through the rest of the episode, the whole vision thing with Raven, and he becomes super paranoid. There's an episode in season 3 where he also becomes like a germaphobe, and that's what this kind of reminds me of. This is also one of the first times I feel like I saw London talk to her mirror, and it shouldn't be so game-changing, but it definitely sets the tone for how rich she is for the rest of the series.
So, how do I look?
Fair.
Maddie, can you move before it cracks?
She pretty much does not want to wear Raven's outfit, and Maddie is a little bit annoyed at that. It's so funny when Zach mocks Cody and uses Raven's whole vision thing for it.
Wait a minute. I'm having a vision. It's someone taking your $5 you left on the dresser.
Who? Me!
Arwen comes on in this crossover, and I wish he got to meet Raven. Everybody at the Tipton is essentially getting ready for the surprise party for Carrie. Zach is trying to keep things straight, while Cody is still freaking out about what could possibly happen to him. Maddie actually uses Esteban to help her sneak into London's room and switch the tags of the dress she's supposed to wear with Raven's dress. And if I were Maddie, I wouldn't go this far for a stranger, but I guess it's thoughtful? I love Esteban being her right-hand man, though. Like, he is really funny in this stuff, but I do wish they incorporated Raven a little bit more, or Hannah Montana. Like, this is a crossover special, and right in this moment, it doesn't really feel like it. Although there are some funny jokes in this scene. To get Cody to calm down about the superstition stuff, Zach is essentially like, let's switch clothes, so if anything were to happen, it would happen to me. Which is kind of genius, actually. They get to the surprise party, and everybody's getting ready, and Cody and Zach look super unnatural in each other's clothes. I can't believe it took them this long to do a plot like this, like representing one another like you're twins. Like, that should be a whole plot point. Raven doesn't know Carrie, nor does she understand that there's a surprise party going on for her, so she is not informed about this. So when she walks into the party, everybody cheers, but it's an accident, and she thinks it's for her, which is so funny. Look at her basking in this glory. I'm just happy she's in the episode more than like 2 seconds. The whole surprise is ruined, and Carrie just walks in on it, and everybody has to have a delay in their surprise. She's so happy that she cries, which is so sweet. As they sing the copyright appropriate birthday song, Arwen's present to Carrie is this giant vacuum-like robot, and it starts to attack the whole party, even cornering Zach into the cake. So they cleverly avoided the vision that Raven set out. I love how it's a That's So Raven style plot in the Zach and Cody universe, because it makes it a lot more unique and a reason to actually justify this special. Like, Zach and Cody wouldn't do this as a normal episode, and that's how you know it kind of takes on its own identity with this other property. That's the way to do it, guys. Like, make it something new. Give our Sweet Life characters our That's So Raven plot lines. Although I wish that That's So Raven's friends were involved in this in some way. Like, it's just Raven Simone going to a different set. Like, come on, guys. In the end, London does wear Raven's dress, and Raven's super excited about it, but London feels betrayed because she realizes it's not actually a Louis Vuitton, and Maddie switched the tags. London feels betrayed, but everything kind of gets solved when Hannah Montana enters the Tipton. So this is kind of nice. I feel like this is the best part in the 3-part special because they actually incorporate all 3 shows. Something that Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana actually never did. Like, when Miley comes in, she compliments the dress, and it kind of solves the whole problem, making London feel a lot better about Raven's choices. Seeing Hannah Montana and London vibe is also cool because you get a more grand scope of what this world's actually like, especially for the celebrities. Overall, this is definitely one of the best Disney Channel crossover episodes, and even though it's oversaturated with bad specials, I feel like this is a gem in all of them. So for the final part in this 3-part special is the weakest episode, the Hannah Montana one. Why is it weak? Because it's very, very minimally involved in this whole thing.
Any room in your suitcase?
Nope.
But what about that exhibit? But what about your kid?
No.
It breaks off after like 10 minutes of the episode into just being a normal Hannah Montana episode surrounding Miley and her dad, which is why I don't really want to deep dive into that section, especially since I'm just focusing on crossovers this time. We start with Hannah trying to get on her luggage to close it, which is so funny. And I like that it's season 1 Hannah. Like, it's so cool to see her before she becomes super famous. Like, her voice is so much younger than we know her to be in the 3rd season crossover.
Roxy, I didn't think that the Marines did yoga.
Oh, I didn't learn this in the Corps. I learned it when I was touring India with world-famous cellist Yo-Yo Ma. He calls me his Yo-Yo Mama.
Her and Billy Ray are just leaving the Tipton, and we even get a quick conversation with Ashley Tisdale, which is nice.
There's a girl out here who wants to see you, claims she's Maddie from the candy counter. You want me to tell her you're not here?
But she's right there. I can see her.
Roxy makes her way into this special, which I really enjoyed. I know she was probably getting paid for the whole episode and could have just been there anyway, but it's definitely meaningful.
Hey, I got my eyes on you.
I feel like they tried to work around the actors' contracts. Like, Ashley Tisdale is only in the 3rd episode, so they only had to pay her for that. They didn't have to pay her for the That's So Raven episode, because it was only Zach and Cody. And then in the Zach and Cody episode, they actually had everybody. You know, like, they had Raven, then they had Miley. That's, like, the only episode I feel that actually crosses all 3 over, while the 1st and the 3rd seem to try to do it as minimal as possible, which I don't really respect. I do like that we got some interactions before the whole thing ends, but the fact it's literally only the first 3 minutes of the Hannah Montana episode is really insulting to me. Like, at least make the elements matter in the rest of the episode, but it doesn't. It's just the fact that Roxy's in it is the only thing that takes over. And I know I trashed Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana. Something they did actually really well in that one was incorporating the actors a lot more. Like, this one, it's just one or the other, but at least they had, like, London Tipton being involved, all 3 of the Russos from Wizards being involved. Like, it felt a lot more figured out and strategic, although I will never get over the fact that they never had Miley and Selena meet. I know there was, like, outside beef going on with that, but it really bothers me. It doesn't feel like it's a true crossover because of that fact. But you know what? I feel like both crossovers have positives and negatives, and I really am bothered by the negatives, but I feel like the positives make each of these worth seeing. Like, if you were a Sweet Life of Zack and Cody fan, if you were a That's So Raven fan, and if you were a Hannah Montana fan, there's a reason to watch all 3 shows, and that's the whole point of it.
I just want to say goodbye and thanks for the tickets. Your concert was awesome.
Thanks. Now bounce up and down.
I know it's just a networking strategy, but it is definitely something we grew up really wanting. This filled a lot of fans' wishes, and it's hard to trash it too much. And even though I have, like, a lot of negative points on it, I definitely have to give it a good score, because this is such a fun experience, and not everybody was doing this at the time. Nickelodeon and Teen Nick never did, like, a Wizards on Deck type crossover, and that's something that's very unique to Disney Channel. Oh wait, I mean, I guess I forgot about iParty with Victorious, but think about iParty with Victorious in comparison to that. Like, it's definitely not as good, and even though I respect Victorious and iCarly for giving the amount of time that it needs to really sink in, I feel like this one's a lot faster paced. If we had to decide between the Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana and That's So Sweet Life, I think I would even give it to Wizards on Deck, which is so confusing because obviously this one has the legitimate crossovers. Miley is in the Tipton, but I do feel like London and Justin's storyline is a lot more interesting than anything else going on. Like, it has a bigger impact on the greater scope of things. Kind of like That's So Raven did. Sweet Life didn't really have that kind of impact on its original plot, except for the fact that they know Hannah later when they meet her. But otherwise, I think there's a lot of positives coming out of this. But what do you guys think? Do you think one or the other was a better crossover? And why did you like it when you grew up? Because let's face it, we all liked it. If you liked any of these 3 shows, it was for you, whether you wanted it to be or not. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Johnny 2000, and have a great day.